Bluebeard's Bride, I think, is a really good example of this. But of course, there's a difference between a folk tale and a religious tale, but maybe not as big of a difference as you might think. I think, it's an oral tradition. It's a story, and I think again the way that I was raised with the Passover Seder was always about drawing parallels to our current time, talking about how we as individuals could relate to it. I think sort of the intention of the ritual was to remember the history, but also to think about your current moment and the possible futures. And so, because I think the spirit of the ritual and the story was always sort of about that, sort of imagining yourself thinking about these traditions in your own culture that have persisted. So we kind of just sort of extended that, and the difference kind of just sort of extended that, and how some people wonder when they're playing this game, how far can I depart from that narrative? And we've tried to give some guidance in the beginning of the book to discuss that. But I think what flows somewhat naturally, or what we're trying to do, is show people that they're going to be following the structure of the story. They're going to be following those key beats. There's going to be, a demand for freedom. There's going to be a barrier to that freedom. There's going to be a show of wonder. And then there's eventually going to be the, finding freedom, right? So people sort of know what's coming, right? Especially after they've read the text, right? Whatever level of background knowledge they bring to our game, we give them that background knowledge. And so that way they know the bones of the story they're telling, but they get to decide how to fill it in as they play.
One of the things that I love about the Passover Seder is that you're retracing footsteps, right? And you are bringing new connection to the story, and you're deepening your awareness of the themes, of the perspectives of the characters every time. So it's, although the youngest person asks questions at the Seder, like usually, there's certain 4 questions, it's about them coming into a community in a space that everyone has experienced already, and they're in the footsteps of others who have been on the same journey. And it's actually truly magical. And like one of the things that I'm so glad that we got to do in our game is bring in like certain things from your own life into the story. So like at the start of every scene, there's like a ritual action, right? That's kind of in, we hadn't played before we started writing the game, but like in Firebrands by Megan and Vincent Baker, they have like certain activities for different scenes, and in like that, I actually haven't played Firebrands yet, even though I feel I need to. But it's I can imagine that it's like you're retracing these themes with like new thoughts and new experiences every time. And like one really cool aspect about Nishtana, which is Gabrielle's idea, is the creating your own ritual. And so like in one of the rituals, it says create your own ritual, and think about how the elements in our game could be reinterpreted into your own experience in a future game, so that every time you play the game, it's enriched more and more, and you can actively be slowly designing around and building on the core game, which is, I think, is genius and fabulous, and really speaks to the heart of what the story is, which it's not our game, it's like our game, right? It's a game where anyone who can think about what it's like to be oppressed, and to reconsider those themes and rededicate themselves to being a better citizen in the world.
Yeah, I love traditions, and so that was the idea, was families or groups of people who come together every year to perform the same rituals together, accrue traditions as a group that are unique, right? That's why everyone's family or group Seder is going to be different from the next house over, because of that one time someone spilled the wine, or we always hide this in this place, or that kind of thing. And so I really wanted to capture that and have encourage players to feel like they are now part of a community. They've created a community by playing this game. And if they wanted to, that they could make this game a tradition for them as a group, and that it could build over time.